Okay, well, I come on here this evening just because I have a little more to share, a little more to say, and while I'm at it, I will tell you all that I've been carving some things with these knives so much that it's gotten to the point that these knives are kind of wearing down a little too much, and so I'd say it's probably getting about time we take care of them, sharpen them a little, because I've been trying to carve some things with them and probably here and there just pushing too hard and chipping off too much because it's kind of the way they go. I'd like to show y'all a little more carving today, but I'd say we're going to have to sharpen these knives first. I'll talk to you about what's going on while I'm doing that. I'd like to share, first of all, I finished some soldiers that will go with my Hebrew children display set. You can see these, they're made out of walnut and these pieces of cedar that are scraps left over from some other projects were attached. These are like the little flames because if you know the story, you probably know that when the soldiers threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the furnace, that the flames did not harm the Hebrew children, but they did come out and burn the soldiers to death. Now, among other things, I will tell you all I've been working on a David and Goliath set. This is the Goliath figure I've been making, so I've just kind of been finishing it up. I put 2 coats of linseed oil on it today and kind of got another 2 coats to put on it tomorrow. Then it's going to be done. And I'd like to tell you all also that this right here is going to be the little David figure. There was a little sling to the set, and I didn't think to bring it into the shop to show it to you, but it's made out of a couple pieces of leather and a piece of floral wire. A hole is going to be drilled right here, and it's going to go in, look like the sling is up like it is. And so while we come to all this work, I got little things to share and to say, and I will first of all take a little sip of my drink. A lot of things I'm kind of laying around in random places, forgetting where I put them. It's kind of been the story the last few days. But as I sharpen these knives, I will tell you a little more. And it's all about how the weather has been over these past few days here. And the way it goes, it'll just kind of get a little chaotic here and there. I will say that we've had a few snowstorms recently. And over these past couple of days, we had some freezing rain and some ice. And as far as how the rest of the story goes, I mean, I work in a school cafeteria, so there was an NTI day yesterday. There was a snow day today. It's Friday evening as I record. I just had my 42nd birthday on Tuesday. I had to have my Facebook closed down for a few certain good reasons, legitimate reasons, and my main account, that is. So my friends, the majority of them, they weren't able to leave wishes on my timeline. But I will say that it all went good because I was able to message a few friends on my secondary account about it, the account I keep open for my pages, and tell them about it, have them reply to me wishing me a happy birthday. And I posted about it on Twitter, had a few replies there. And kind of had some good messages about it as well. I just got done doing 50 strikes with that knife. Going to try doing it with this one too. Problem is I need to move it away from my legs so I don't get cut. And might even tell you all a little bit about some cats I've been carving these past few days. You've probably seen on Facebook or Twitter the ones I've posted before. And of all things you've seen, there's probably going to be a little more to share to come. And I've also kind of finished up a couple of wolves in a previous video. I'd been demonstrating how to cut out. And for just a few other things I need to share, I kind of took that cat pattern and translated it into a pattern for a hound. And I will say that the cats were probably what I've been carving lately when I kind of started having little issues with the knife here. And there will be so much more to say, so much more to do. I kind of had some good conversation with a few friends lately. They are always good to me. I've shared some stuff about my Bible displays with them. Over the past few days, I had somebody request of me a camel for between now and Christmas, along with a shepherd and an angel, both of which I already have. I couldn't find any butternut that online or to purchase that was wide enough or long enough grain wise to be able to make the camel, so I purchased a piece of sassafras online, kind of like, looks almost like butternut though. Probably seen all the things I've done, all the things I've made, all the things I've shown. There's just a lot to it, a lot to say for it, and I've just kind of come some pretty long ways. About the coffee shop where my work has been on display for commission sale, they're working on trying to get me a check there for all my sales, and they still got my wildcats there. I took down all the Santas and wise men right after Christmas ended. And as for a little more work, been trying to stay busy about a few more things, and it's kind of hard to sharpen and talk at the same time. So I might even be getting down to only doing 40 strikes with these knives on this little Arkansas stone here. That might be the best I can do for the moment if I'm talking to you while doing it. I will tell you all that I've probably created a few calluses on my hands lately from all the carving I've been doing. It's been kind of a ways to go, busy with things. It's such a good thing that I have all these pieces to work with, all these materials to work with to make all these different parts, all these different things. And I just like to say that in weather conditions like this, it's hard to get out and around, but I've been back to Starbucks a few times lately. There's been some nights I haven't been able to go because it's been so cold at night, but there's been a few warmer nights I've been able to make it out. I've been able to find radio programs to listen to in the morning and the evening by encouraging people with encouraging words, with encouraging things to say. Even some videos on YouTube, to that matter, that kind of have some stuff about the Bible in them, little stories narrated and illustrated in cartoons. I'd say that's enough for the Arkansas stone. It's kind of time to move on to the next stone, sharpen some more knives, kind of keep this going on. I'd say this is the ceramic stone, one we used before. Some of these days I've kind of missed work a little bit while we've been in these weather conditions, but I feel like it's given me a little more time to work on some things. I'd like to tell you all those figures I used to just make on the saw all those years ago that weren't really all that much carved out. I've cleaned out a little space over here in the shop on my shelves, kind of moved some wood over to make that little space to put all that stuff. Times are changing so much where I'm running out of people to give them as gifts to, and not that many more come into my life. And I tell you, there were the years I probably would have given them to employees in places where I frequented a lot, but older I get, the more I learn how unexpected that is, and never made somebody uncomfortable the first time I did it, but with some of these people, it could be the first step towards that. Let's go on to the next knife. So what I've done is, I have decided to put all that over there and consider it my treasury. It's probably because I've been working lately on pieces that make my talent come out a little bit more, pieces that would be more likely to be sold, and so, you know, I just kind of keep a treasury of old stuff over there and keep it in fashion and in style, and it kind of comes to the point where I just feel like there's going to come a time when it's going to be beneficial to some person or event that I take some of this out and take it somewhere or send it to somebody, take it to somebody, or sometime, and maybe even after my death it'll still be there and have some value to somebody. Sometimes I think about the fact that there's people on this earth, and thankfully they're still on the earth where I can talk to them on social media and through emails and things. There's a lot of reason I don't get to see them in person anymore because of how the pandemic has changed so many things, but kind of make it to where, we just always know if they're in your family with God, they're going to be with you in eternity and part of your eternal family as well. There was a time I attended Bible school at one of the churches where I went to, and it was one that had an adult class I attended, and there was a little song in the Bible school about meeting you in the clouds for the family reunion. Come and join the party that never ends. Don't remember exactly where the song came from, but that was the Bible school theme there that year, and that's what we know there's going to be. There's going to be a reunion for the family of Christ, and it's going to be eternal. Well, that takes care of that knife for us. Kind of try to move on to the next one here. Well, that was just 20 strikes straight, so I'm going to go the same way back. Sometimes when I'm not entertaining while I'm sharpening knives, I kind of get it done a little faster because I just kind of go about it a little more. Oh, this world is just going to be a place where I'd say we can always kind of look forward to a few brighter tomorrows. And I've enjoyed having some of my good Christian friends kind of seeing some of my new work, because sometimes I do little work to try to depict the Bible as well as kind of try to work on some good things for some good sales now and then. Oh, I tell y'all that little work is coming and going. I tell you, it's just a little time in my life when we get to kind of enjoy having a little space here and there, coming into the shop just to kind of share some little things. I think it is time this now to go on to the leather strop, kind of work with that a little bit. This little knife that has the old chipped blade, think I'm going to do it first this time. Well, we got 20 to both sides there. I think I'm going to do another 20 to get 40 in. Well, I tell y'all that one thing I wanted to mention about earlier was that piece of sassafras I ordered online to make the camels out of. It would be enough to make 4 camels and 2 angels, as I forgot to mention. And there's probably going to be a little more to say later on tonight. As of my words, I'd say I get a little mixed up here and there, just trying to go about my work and say as I need to say. And in all things, I'd like to share I've been a little blessed here and there with all the good people that have been in my life. There's probably been some I've had to kind of put off my correspondence with for a while. I kind of thought I'd be able to open my main Facebook account back up this weekend in my main messenger and try to correspond with a few more people. I thought the weekend would be better once we kind of got the stresses of the week over with, but didn't know what this weather was going to be like, and don't really think I need to get back on and kind of see all the complaining that's probably going on over the weather, let alone get myself a little too silly and agitated and make some mistake I'll be trying to fix later. And as you go about it, I'd just like to say that I've enjoyed having this work come along on this shop. And I mean, I kind of had recently made a couple of gnomes out of a couple old cypress leaves that I have. Probably got to find a few more that I have to kind of do a little more work, and then I'll probably be able to go a little further ahead. I'd like to say a little bit more about how this is coming along and tell you all that I just saw a book on how to carve big cats. I bought it years ago thinking I was going to make some. It's only become my interest lately to try to make some because they might be marketable, might be able to be sold, but I bought most of the gouges that the book requires and veiners too. The only thing that was in the book that I couldn't find anywhere online to purchase was a 6mm number 10 veiner. I am unsure as to whether they make those anymore, even whether they still make number 10 veiners, but I'd say the book calls for it if nothing else. I don't know where I'm going to find it, but I just pray if it's the Lord's will that sometime or another someone just kind of turns up online, maybe an old vintage one that might be able to buy whatever it's going to be. And while I'm thinking of it, there's just so much more to say, so much more to know, but a little more work just comes along here and there. There's some things I'm going to make some point, and I've just kind of got a lot of work to do because, like I said, I haven't been able to go to work the past couple of days. More than likely, this weather's going to get better, and I'm going back to work on Monday. That'll be a good thing. I will tell y'all that a lot of discussion goes on at work about how the weather is going to be here and there. Sometimes people are always predicting the day before that we're not going to have school because it'll be so cold or whatever. Sometimes we don't know until later in the day when they make the decision, but I will say that there just gets to be a lot of that talk, and I just kind of had to teach myself lately to just kind of ignore it, let it slide. And I do think it's probably gotten to the point where I've like gotten pretty far along on this video. I think I've had a lot to share, a lot to say, a lot to go about in life. And I tell y'all, this is just going to be wonderful just to kind of get this all under control, get it all taken care of. Just know one thing, that we have a true God that's by our side in it all. Had a few items get mislaid lately, just laying them down, forgetting where I put them, and having to pray and relax. And next thing you know, I come back to my place and it's there. So I just want to say that even when times get stressful, even weather-wise, like they have been lately, and with the Omicron variant, I will say that everything's going to be cool. Like the Gaither song says, it won't rain always. The sun's going to shine and God's on good time and He's going to see you through.